Today, other interesting cultural news, you have a student slapping a teacher in the classroom and, surprisingly enough, actually got arrested. Well, granted, this person might be let go because of how broken the justice system is, but this is also reason 9,958,453 to homeschool your kids. Or also in this case, discipline your kids. Now, this is first brought to us thanks to Colin Rugg over at X Twitter, and he says specifically, quote, North Carolina high school student arrested after assaulting his teacher as students in the class filmed and laughed. The teen is now facing 3 misdemeanor charges for assault on a government official. Unlike many other school assault cases, the district attorney launched an investigation into the assault within an hour after the video was posted. Forsyth County DA Jim O'Neill says, quote, both Sheriff Kimbrell and myself spent the morning at Parkland High School speaking with the teacher. This isn't about the color of your skin. This isn't about your political affiliation. Today is about one thing, sending a message to the teachers out there. The law department and district attorney office support you. We care about your job. You do. We care about the job you do, unquote. The public school, and then this is again going back to Colin Rugg, he says the public school system is a mess, unquote. Which, yes, 110%, it is certainly a mess. The real question is, could it actually be fixed? Let's just say I'm pessimistic to say the least. And scrolling down here, you can actually see crank up the volume here. And see, it should play with volume. Oh, rats. Okay, I'll have to use the mouse. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. So this student is a lot bigger than the teacher. Ooh, slaps her.
You think that affected me any? Let me hit you again.
Oh, you make it a little bigger there. Rewind to the front.
Oh! You think that affected me any? Let me hit you again. Let me hit you again. I don't want it. You want me to hit you again? I don't want it. Let me hit you again. My God. Stop playing with me. I told your dumb ass I'll knock those dumb ass glass off your face.
Someone wasn't beaten enough, and I mean this gentleman. A wise man once said every young man should have his ass kicked at least once. You need to humble yourself. Which is why I'm a big fan of doing, sports too. Oh, did we lose the volume there? Really? What? Now it's loading like a 1999 dial-up. Like you're waiting a half hour to download a single song off LimeWire.
Dumbass glass off your face. And do I look like I care? What's wrong with you? What you gonna do? Still sit in that chair? You use a bitch. My granny, nigga, stop playing with me. Bitch ass. Ain't nobody ever come and you just got slapped. Bitch, go back to teaching. Yo, soft ass.
I don't know. Someone's discussing they censored the person's face so you don't know the evil perpetrator. Fascinatingly enough, can you see that? I need to invest in maybe perhaps a zoom technology or zooming technology. He's actually wearing a belt properly. You don't see that a lot these days. That's something I haven't seen since 1993. Granted, I was 2 years old at the time, but I was very observant as a child. But actually has his belt. He not only does he have a belt, but it's being properly securing the jeans. Yeah, I am pretty shocked to say the least. Has a little ADHD note there, and again, we'll see about more details. I can't help but think, what are the statistical odds that he actually had a follower at home? Because, again, it's one of those instances where it's. Well, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulties. Getting back to the comments here. Yeah, if you had good parents growing up, you had consequences in your life. If you had discipline in your life, you would never dare hit a teacher. And another thing I would blame as part of the public school system is restricting teachers' ability to discipline their students. Again, it does take obviously transparency and collaborating with the parents so that you don't have going too far. But I know a lot of friends who went to Catholic school and they got the ruler every once in a while, and that's what happened to my parents' generation. And in many ways, they turned out a lot better than the people who got no discipline in their life. So that's my first question is, or question or observation or theory, can't help but think this, I was about to say gentleman, he's a piece of shit, pardon the French, is morally vacuous person who basically, obviously, in much better physical shape than the teacher, assaulted the teacher. Which again, thankfully, maybe this individual will learn. Again, I'm not sure what the Las Vegas odds are, but I can't help but think probably had no discipline their whole life, and maybe now they'll learn. Hopefully. Maybe I'm just a hopeless optimist. Let's go in the comments and see where's the general consensus. One of the first comments comes from Julia Broderick, and she says, quote, "Unfortunately, this doesn't have a shock effect anymore. There has to be consequences strong enough to stop this. We should never get accustomed to this, but sadly we have," unquote. Getting 14,000 likes, which is quite a few to say the least. And yes, Colin Rugg responded saying, quote, "The real pandemic in our country is a fatherless children," unquote, getting 16,000 likes, which 110%. I also blame, there are a myriad of reasons and domino effects and ripple effects on why we have single parents these days. And one of the biggest issues were Ronald Reagan with the just allowing divorces to proliferate exponentially after passing no-fault divorce. I mean, I think that was a terrible thing. It basically made marriage almost like a disposable, temporary thing in many, many cases. And you see with certain communities with government incentives, fiscally speaking, is actually more advantageous to be a single parent because the government will give you greater subsidies than if you are a family. Now, the pessimist in me, or some might say conspiracy theorists, would say maybe the government is doing this unintentionally because it makes you dependent on the system and therefore guaranteed to vote for a bigger and bigger government. Not unconceivable, I would argue, with that train of thought. But yeah, having fatherless homes, I mean, you look at every study shows the child is infinitely better off in every metric when you have dual parents at home. The nuclear family, you could debate if it's an invention or creation or discovery. The best mechanism since the dawn of time to raising a child, bar none. Now, you also have Joshua Walker saying, quote, "I would say wait until his father gets home. Too bad the likelihood of a dad in his house is low," unquote, getting 12,000 likes. Scrolling down more and more, you have Paul Zupa saying, quote, "This student should be tried as an adult and jailed. Enough of this nonsense. This is terrorism. It makes all the other children afraid of their livelihoods. If the student isn't expelled, I'll be outraged," unquote, getting 10,000 likes. And another big cultural issue is, why did not a single student try to stop this individual? I mean, partially because, again, I also blame, government and policies. You see the same thing with why aren't good men stepping up, saving people in subways? Well, the good men are being prosecuted for saving people. The government is actually hurting the good guys. In schools, I forget the name of the policy. Is it the no fault? There's some stupid policy they had even when I was a kid where if you got in a fight, it didn't matter if you're the good guy or bad guy, you got in trouble. So that means if there was a fight and you intervened in any way, even if you stepped in to break up the two or stop it, you yourself would get in trouble. Thereby disincentivizing any reason you should actually step in. Aside from, the moral one and doing the right thing, which I would argue is priceless and worth whatever you would need to pay in terms of a consequence. Now, scrolling down, you also have Libercat Media TM saying, quote, "White supremacy added again," and I forget what you call it, where it's just a backdrop of a black piece of paper with white font on it, or because it's not a GIF or GIF as the youth might say. I guess there's a picture with text. Doesn't sound as cool, but nevertheless, the picture with text says, quote, "Black privilege, the ability to break every law in the country and still remain the victim," unquote, getting 6.3 thousand likes. Though, again, in this case, this person is seemingly arrested, and he's already been tried with, what is this, 3 misdemeanors?
I don't want it.
Sorry about that. It looks like they are being charged with, let me see here, 3 misdemeanors. So, I mean, in this case, again, they are being charged. Let's see here. Scrolling down more and more, you have Joy Mariano saying, quote, "My mother is a retired teacher. I'd have met that person at the school with my Second Amendment," getting 4,000 likes, which, again, is mentally vacuous to actually to promulgate violence, because, again, I can't help but think he's going to, I guess it's not a specific threat, so legally he might be okay, but, I mean, ideally, it's not a good idea to actually put that out on the internet. You have Zeno saying, quote, "How many times has high school reprimanded this animal for this behavior and or suspended him? I bet money that this isn't the first time he's been a problem. The priorities at North Carolina high schools seem to be in complete disarray." You have a little picture that says priorities, and it said asking questions. That's no, and they have assaulting staff. Yeah, it got 3.8 thousand likes. Red Wave Press saying, quote, "We have a parenting epidemic in this country, not to mention our public school system is broken. I hope North Carolina makes an example out of this kid." Unquote, getting 1.8 thousand likes. So overwhelming support. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, you have Gunther Eagleman simply saying jail time, getting 1.7 thousand likes. And yeah, public schools are becoming, again, let me know if you think this is simple anecdotal evidence and it's not accurate of the whole situation or the greater trend. But I mean, would you, if you had kids these days, if you were blessed with that opportunity, would you send your kids to a public school with all the information you have right now? Again, 32-year low ACT scores. The teachers unions they say they deserve more money. And you have record low history scores, math scores, science scores, but they do have indoctrination. And they hide things about you in terms of the kids' decisions. They brainwash your kids. Not always. Again, a little asterisk, because I know I have some friends who are exceptional teachers that actually work in public schools. So you always have to have that asterisk. But let me know in the comments, where would you, if you won the lottery and there wasn't you didn't have anything holding you back fiscally speaking, you're maybe willing to make a sacrifice. Again, I'm not sure your situation, but if you had the opportunity, would you send your kids to a public school or would you rather homeschool them? As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.